Maswera sei muri Zimbabwe, welcome to our channel. But not by now dzinoitika kama team na nyika yedu ye Zimbabwe. Tichingoti kana kare kekutanga kako kuya paneno channel, please don't forget to subscribe. Kana uchingowagara wakasubscribe, don't forget to comment and share this video. Tine now yatakuigirai muzuva ranhasi azinomira mushe with the political arena makungakuna ikunzi Tagwirei now Mnangagwa. They are planning to remove Chiwenga muri Zimbabwe and anogona kuita chokwadi muri Zimbabwe azinomira mushe reason of all wabuda chikomenta on these issues mushure mekunge pabuda now irikunzi Apostle Bazirai Java vari kutsvagwa nepolisi vada kusungirwa nawo maaudio akaseculator abuda achitaura yachiti kana maaudios anga ari kunyepa semataurwa zvakaitwa why vari kutsvaga Apostle Java and Apostle Java vangadai vainyepera nawo reason of follower abuda achitaura yachiti 7 weeks ago when the now famous audio allegedly linked to Apostle Bazirai Java first began circulating, I argued that Zimbabweans were asking the wrong questions. The question was never whether every allegation in the narration could be independently verified. The more important question was why millions of Zimbabweans found the narrative unbelievable. I wrote then that the establishment does not appear frightened merely by allegations, it appears frightened by interpretation. Today, that observation appears even more relevant. According to widespread media reports, police have prepared a docket containing several possible charges they intend to pursue should Apostle Java be apprehended. Those reports indicate that the investigation arises from the circulation of an audio recording in which unidentified speakers discussed allegations, rumors, and political developments within government. Apostle Java has publicly denied being the speaker, and he has not yet been brought before a court to answer any charge. Whether those reports are ultimately sustained in court is for the judicial process to determine. What interests me is something far larger, the politics of interpretation. The reported response to the audio appears to reveal a government increasingly concerned not merely with controlling events, but with controlling the conclusions citizens draw from these events. That is a profound difference. Governments can control roads, they can control rallies, they can deploy police, they can make arrests, but controlling interpretation is indefinitely more difficult. Interpretation lives in the minds of citizens, and that is precisely where today's political contest appears to be unfolding. When Constitutional Amendment Act No. 3 was introduced, the public debate was ostensibly about legal reforms. Many Zimbabweans, however, interpreted it differently. They saw an attempt to reshape constitutional rules to serve political succession rather than constitutional principle. Whether that interpretation was correct was almost beside the point. It became politically powerful because millions arrived at it independently. Then came the calls for the July 31 demonstrations. Again, the official narrative emphasized security and public order. Many citizens interpreted the extraordinary security deployment differently. They concluded that the state appeared more fearful of peaceful mobilization than the protesters were fearful of the state. Again, on many, one may agree or disagree with that conclusion, but once people begin interpreting events through the same lenses, isolated incidents cease to be isolated. They become part of a pattern. Now comes Apostle Java matter. The reported investigation contains an audio recording in which unidentified individuals discussed rumors and allegations surrounding Zimbabwe's political landscape. Whether those allegations are true is one question. Why the reported response has been so extensive is another, and for many Zimbabweans, that second question may become the more politically significant one. Because politics is rarely determined solely by facts, it is often determined by the meaning citizens attach to those facts. The irony is striking. The more vigorously governments attempt to suppress interpretation, the more they often reinforce it. Had the audio simply been dismissed as idle speculation, it might have disappeared into the endless stream of social media gossip. Instead, the reported investigation The investigations, raids, and public attention have inevitably caused many citizens to ask why an audio discussing rumors should command such agency. That question may prove more enduring than the recording itself. History offers an important lesson. Authoritarian systems seldom collapse because citizens suddenly discover new facts. They weaken when citizens begin connecting familiar facts into a coherent explanation. Individual events rarely change politics. Patterns do. That is why interpretation matters. The original narration did not merely recount alleged conversations. It invited listeners to connect constitutional amendments, succession politics, business influence, church engagement, parliamentary maneuvers, and elite competition into one overarching political narrative. Whether every element of that narrative is accurate remains open to scrutiny, but its political force lay in its coherence, not merely its claims. And perhaps that is what happens to have unsettled the establishment most. Not necessarily the allegation, but the possibility that Zimbabweans might increasingly begin seeing recent developments not as unrelated episodes, but as pieces of one larger political puzzle. This is where CAP 3, the July 31 mobilization, and the Apostle Java affair converge. On the surface, they concern different subjects. One concerns constitutional law, another public protest, the third an audio recording. Yet the public appears increasingly to interpret them through one common question. Why does the state appear so anxious whenever citizens begin questioning the direction of national politics? The question cannot be answered by police deployments, nor by criminal investigations, nor by public warnings. Interpretation is immune to force. Indeed, force often strengthens it. There is another danger in all that. The definition of what constitutes a threat appears, at least in public perception, to be steadily expanding. Yesterday, constitutional advocacy was portrayed as destabilizing. Then came peaceful demonstrations. Today, according to media reports, an audio discussing rumors has become the subject of an intense investigation. If this trajectory continues, where does it end? When governments increasingly treat conversations as security risks, citizens inevitably begin wondering whether the greatest threat lies not in what is being said, but in what those entrusted with power fear people might conclude. Strong governments generally compete in the marketplace of ideas. They rebut, they persuade, they explain. Governments that increasingly rely on coercive responses risk creating an altogether different impression, that they are no longer confident their arguments alone will prevail. There is an old saying that power is never as strong as it appears, nor as weak as its critics sometimes imagine. Its greatest test lies not in its ability to silence criticism, but in its willingness to withstand interpretation. For that is the one arena where no government possesses a monopoly. Laws may regulate conduct, they cannot legislate perception. Institutions may command obedience, they cannot command belief, and governments may suppress individual voices, but they cannot indefinitely suppress collective conclusions that millions of citizens quietly arrive at for themselves. Perhaps that is the deeper lesson of these past few weeks. The central political struggle in Zimbabwe is no longer simply about constitutions, succession, protests, or leaked audios. It's about who gets to define what those events mean. That is the politics of interpretation, and the history suggests that once a nation begins interpreting events through a common lens, the contest is no longer over information, it is over legitimacy itself. Domabuditsi wakatwa nawo imwe Zimbabwe narizwa Hapasisina kuti muiona sei, tiudzewo zvamunofunga mu comment section.